So Trump sat down for an interview on the show Full Measure with Cheryl. Is it Cheryl or Cheryl? I think it's Cheryl. Okay, interesting name. Whatever. So Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson. She's got a weird name. It's kind of hard to say that name because you want to add an Atkinson. There's no N. Cheryl? I've never heard Cheryl before, but all right, we're going with that. Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson. And honestly, if you watch the whole interview, you get the sense she's actually kind of right-leaning and she's sympathetic to Trump. She's on Trump's side. But she's going to ask a real question here about, hey, how do you lower prices? Specifically, what are you going to do to lower prices? Okay, it's a question about inflation, basically. How are you going to lower prices? And Trump, I mean, Jesus Christ. First of all, as you're going to see, he's very moist. His face is very gelatinous and wet. And he's going to go on a tangent that has nothing to do with the question. She's going to try to recenter the question again. He's going to go on another tangent that has nothing to do with the question. And what I need you guys to do is every now and then go look at transcripts of Trump interviews. When you read the transcripts, you're like, this may be the dumbest man in the country. And the thing is, he overrides it oftentimes in interviews with his charisma and how confident he is when he talks. You might like, hey, maybe that makes sense. Like, he seems very sure of himself as he talks. That really does a great job at tricking people into like, oh, okay, he seems to have command of the material. Look how, arrogant he is with it. Look how on top of it he is. But if you read his answers transcript style, you're like, this guy wasn't even close to answering the question. All right, so here we go. Watch him just absolutely fumble this. This is a massive failure.
What are the specific mechanics of how prices come down? The steps that would be taken in a second term for you?
So, first of all, she can't do an interview. She could never do this interview because you ask questions like, give me a specific answer. She talks about her lawn when she was growing up. This woman is not equipped to be president. She's not equipped to deal with President Xi, who I took in hundreds of billions of dollars with him, and Putin. We had no war with Putin.
The question was, hey, how are we going to bring down prices? What are the steps to bring down prices? And he starts ranting about Kamala Harris and how she doesn't directly answer questions. You're not directly answering the question right now. And by the way, in the debate, the one area where she didn't really answer the question immediately was the very beginning. I'm from a middle-class family, and everybody was making fun of that, including me. But she went on to answer questions, and Trump went on to not answer questions. And here's another example of it right here.
Russia, with Biden, they're trying to take everything. With Obama, they took a lot. With Trump, Russia took nothing. Just remember that. It's a little chart. But
what does this have to do with prices? It's a little chart. It's a little chart.
What happened, and when you look at what took place, was so sad. When they took over, they cut the oil way down, and oil started going through the roof. It was going to go to $10 a gallon. It was going to go to numbers that nobody's ever seen. And so they went back to the Trump drilling. They said, let it go back. That was the only good thing, but they stopped. Because I would be there, but 4 years later, I would be triple what the number was. Right now, they're just about even where I was.
He's talking about oil drilling now. And by the way, you're not going to be surprised to learn the U.S. is like the number one producer and exporter, I believe, of oil and natural gas. So the idea that, bro, they were so anti-oil, bro. No, everybody knows this. The Democratic strategy when it comes to energy is the all of the above strategy. It's been that case since Obama. So in other words, yeah, we're going to do investments in green and renewable technology. They created like 300,000 manufacturing jobs on that front. But also, yeah, we're still going to do a shitload of oil drilling and fracking and all that stuff. So the idea that Democrats they're so anti-oil, they were so anti-oil, then they said, do what Trump did. Then they stopped doing what Trump did again. Can you believe it? All this is total bullshit.
But they only did that because of the fact that they eventually have an election coming up. And you remember at the beginning what happened. That's one of the reasons that Putin went in, because it went to $100 a barrel instead of $40 a barrel. And
the question was about prices. How do you bring down like grocery prices? What are the steps? What are the policy measures?
He could fight all the wars he wants with those kind of numbers because he's a big seller of oil and gas. So what happens is they went back to what I was doing, just said reopen. It wasn't hard. It's so crazy what they want to do. They're going to destroy lives. They're going to destroy what they have done to this country, and especially in the sense of allowing millions and millions of people come in, because that's something, we can fix the gasoline situation, and we can fix the anything.
Do prices come down magically because it's not them?
They come down.
He starts talking about immigration. And she has to jump in, and she's like, so are prices going to come down just magically because it's not them and you're in power? So she after he goes on like a 7-issue tangent, nothing to do with the question. She's like, okay, prices. Thoughts on that? Okay, here we go.
Do prices come down magically because it's not them?
They come down with energy, and they come down with interest rates. We're going to get, as I told you, we're going to get energy down by 50% in 12 months. We're going to have it's going to be a major smash on energy.
So his answer appears to be prices are going to come down because we're going to do more oil. Guys, like I said, we're already number one in the world, right? Also, the capacity to sort of expand this stuff. If you listen to experts in the field, they go, look, we're tapped out, bro. We are tapped out with this. So his answer is, we're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. And then the prices will come down. And the interest rates.
And I'm not just talking about cars. I'm talking about air conditioning, heating, your basic energy, operating a bakery, operating any kind of a business. It's all having to do with energy. That was where they started wrong. When they cut way back on what I did, and again, just so you
He's incapable of just answering the direct question.
Understand, they then let it go back to where it was, which was a very smart thing. Otherwise, I think you would have had a depression, if you want to know the truth. But energy was rising at a level that nobody had ever seen. And then they said, go back. They were telling people, go back to your wells, go back to drilling, go back to fracking, do whatever you have to do. But if they win, the day after, they're going all the way. They were only doing that because of an election coming up. They're going all the way. It's madness. And what they've done to our country is mad.
I'm wondering, looking back.
And they literally had to cut it there. He probably kept rambling, and they had to cut it off there. Fucking unbelievable, man. Just so unbelievable. Look, the reality is, he doesn't have an answer on how he would bring down grocery prices. He doesn't. Kamala does. She released it, and everybody on the right flipped out and called her a communist and a Maoist and a Stalinist and all sorts of names, right? But her plan was, we're going to ban price gouging. So what we're going to do is make sure that greedflation is going to stop. You're not going to have companies charging higher prices because they feel like they can, because they're hopping on board with this narrative of, oh, inflation's out of control, and they're using that to raise prices on stuff that isn't actually impacted by the supply chain or by inflation. They're just padding their bottom line. So she came out and she released that policy. You know what? That policy makes sense. And they said, oh my God, that's price controls and you're going full communist and that's going to destroy the economy and it's going to lead to all these problems. Guys, I believe the exact number is 39 states already have bans against price gouging. It happens in the context of like if a hurricane or a natural disaster comes through an area, destroys stuff. If you have 7 grocery stores there and 6 of them are out and one of them's there, they can't just raise prices 400% and say, hey, yeah, you have to pay this because now it's fair market value because supply and demand. Look, all the other places are shut down. I'm the only one in business. I'm going to charge you this. Even though that is market forces at work, they go, okay, in some instances, market forces are bad. In some instances, market forces are unacceptable. We need to do something for the public good and rein in those market forces, right? That's a ban on price gouging. We already have that. Nobody's saying, all the states that have that are fucking communist. They're not. This is basic stuff for the good of the public. So that's her plan on it. What's yours? The energy. It's something the immigrants, so many immigrants are coming. And Vladimir, World War III. We're going to have World War III. And they said they took the oil. They were getting rid of it. And then they said, go back to what Trump was doing. And then they did that. But then again, they went back again. And he's trying to say like they're against oil and gas drilling. Well, one of the main criticisms against Biden and Kamala from the left is, look, the all the above strategy is exacerbating climate change and making it worse. Stop with so much oil drilling. And he's trying to imply that in a second term, they're going to totally get us off of oil and gas. Be still my beating heart. That would be phenomenal. If we move towards all renewable technology, that'd be great. That's what we need for the future to try to fight back against climate change, right? But no, he just makes it up, attacks it. I mean, this has got to be embarrassing, right? Even if you're somebody who likes Trump, who supports Trump, this is embarrassing. He literally just can't answer the question directly. By the way, you want to know why? He doesn't actually have an answer to that question. He doesn't fucking know. How am I going to bring down grocery prices? I don't know. Look, he's a cuck to the corporations. He lets them do whatever they want to do. So he can't say we're going to rein him in, we're going to ban price gouging. He can't say that. He can't do it. So what does he have? He's got nothing. Energy. We're going to drill. We're going to drill, and that's going to lower prices. That's what's going to happen. As I already said, we're tapped out on that front anyway with drilling. But even in a scenario where you somehow had more capacity to do more drilling, in theory, that would bring down the price of gas a little bit. But that would be it. You'd still have all the stuff in the grocery store, and you'd still be worrying about those prices, right? He doesn't have any plans, man. They're terrible. They're the worst. And me, I'm the best. I'm just the best. I'm the best. Go read transcripts of his interviews, and your mind will be blown as to how unfit, unprepared, and idiotic this man is. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.